What's up everyone, this is Vercel, co-founder of NG Poland, JS Poland, AI Poland and Angular Master.dev. Welcome back to the Angular Master podcast. Today, together with Nir Kaufman, we are diving into our brand new AI for Frontend Developers workshop coming this May 28 to 30. Hi Nir, how are you?
Good, thank you. Happy to be here again with you.
For those who don't know yet, please tell us about yourself and what you do, especially with AI and websites.
Yes, with websites or web applications, how we like to call it. So my name is Nir Kaufman. I've been in the front-end JavaScript business for almost 20 years, building a rich web experience, what we call today front-end development or full-stack development. I'm a Google developer expert for Angular, working with Angular in production since 2009. Very involved in the community. My life agenda is to share the knowledge and experience because I truly believe that knowledge should be for everyone. Everyone should have the opportunity to gain the knowledge to build web applications with JavaScript, obviously.
Why do you think now is the best time to learn AI for front-end work?
Because especially for front-end, if you look around and you see a lot of chatting about AI, and mostly with people talk and post and teach about the backend part of AI, how to build the logical part of AI-driven applications, how to build agents but on the backend, how to build the RAG applications, which we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But everything is like focusing on the backend side. But on the other hand, there is a UI is still important because it doesn't matter how sophisticated is your application. Without a user interface, a user can't interact with your web application. So right now, for front-end developers, there's a chance to rethinking and gain new skills to build a UI UX experience for the new era of AI, because backend developers can't build UI, and we have the experience. We know the frameworks, we know the language, we okay with building, experiences. And that's an advantage. And I believe that now it's the right time to gain these skills across the full stack, because soon enough, it's going to be a demand for front-end UI developers that know how to think and build UI experience for AI-driven applications.
You teach Angular, TypeScript, and LangChain together. Why is this mix useful?
First of all, it's TypeScript across the stack. As Angular developers for many years, we live in TypeScript world since day one, since the new Angular, since the Angular 2 experience. So we are familiar with TypeScript. The framework is built around TypeScript. The framework is built about reactivity. Today, LangChain, which is another popular framework for building LLM-driven applications, is being published in both Python and TypeScript. So by taking our experience again as a front-end developers with Angular, TypeScript, at LangChain and TypeScript, we can build a feature end-to-end. We can build the full experience from the backend to the front-end using the same skills that we already have. So we don't need to learn anything new. So I believe it's a very good combination of taking, a familiar, mature framework like Angular and combine it with another kind of default framework, I believe today, which is LangChain.
What is an AI agent and how is it better than a normal chatbot?
The way I like to teach it is like in a very simple words is a chatbot answer your questions. An agent, it actually acts It can plan, it can call API, it can update a database, it can loop again and again until the goal is met. I mean, the agent doing stuff. It's not just give you a conversational, questions and answers. And that's the big difference between an AI agent and just a chatbot.
Can you explain RAG?
Yeah, well, RAG, there's a lot of explanations. You can talk about it, but I think that the simplest explanation will be RAG is bringing your own documents so the model can speak from actual facts and not like from imagination or hallucinations. Because once you bring your own data, your own docs, your own documents, the chat got very specific knowledge and it wouldn't go and make up stuff. So that's RAG in the most simple explanation, if you ask me.
Give us one real problem that RAG can solve for a business website.
For a business website, I think that the most popular use case is customer support, because customer support is based on knowledge. When you train a customer support person, he needs to get familiar with the service. You need to read a lot of documents and manuals. Maybe he's got its own access to the company resources. So an agent, like the most common popular for almost any business, because any business needs support, needs customer support. That's gonna be it. I mean, and that's the kind of easiest RAG system build to bring like all of your manuals, documents. I can give the listeners a great example from a completely another world. I like off-road driving. I'm an off-road instructor, 4x4 adventures and stuff. And we've got a community of people around old cars. And in our WhatsApp group, there's always a lot of questions. How do I fix that? Which kind of engine oil should I use? So I took the car manual, the entire car manual, and a lot of other support documents that I got from the garage, build a very simple RAG system, and now the community can ask technical questions and get an immediate, real, true answer straight from the car manual. They don't even need to guess. So that's like, it's not even a business, but it's a very nice example how you can actually build RAG for your day-to-day problems.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Your workshop has daily coding project. How does that help people learn faster?
Because when you hand coded, when you actually write code, you really understand the concept. And that's the difference. There are a lot of AI-based workshops out there that I've seen. They teach you how to build agents, how to build RAG system, how to build AI-driven applications by drop the coding part. It's true that today you can build this kind of applications. Well, I don't want to say without coding at all, but with a minimal amount of coding. But I'm an old school developer, and I believe that first of all, you need to learn how to code it hands-on. And then if you choose, you can take this and build stuff without coding. So in my workshop, yes, there is, after every topic that I teach theoretically, there's going to be real coding hands-on in order to fully understand how it works. And then everyone can make a decision if you like to code it by itself or use any, low-code, no-code platform in the future.
Will you show us how to put an AI app online?
Yes, of course. And actually believe that people will be surprised that it's not that hard as it might seem. Because eventually it's a web application. Eventually it's a web applications that reach some data sources and API. The architecture is a little bit different. But today we have a lot of one-click, easy deploy and scale platforms that everyone, by the end of this workshop, everyone will be able to build a fully functional, agent-based, full-stack web application and deploy it so it can actually be reached by other people.
Why use Angular plus the Vercel AI SDK to stream answers in real time?
Well, the keyword is real time. Like I said before, Angular, one of the key features of Angular is reactivity, the reactivity model. Where we started with RxJS, now it's signal based and the template system, and Angular as we know it. And reactivity is very important when you build UI experience that based on real time, because when you start to stream objects, even stream objects that represent UI components. If you've got a framework on the other side, a front-end framework like Angular that support reactivity in a very efficient way, it's a win-win situation. Because there are some framework out there which are not built, about on top of reactivity and out there for so many years as Angular. There are some other frameworks that are doing reactivity very, very well, but again, Angular is very mature. It's out there for more than a decade, and we know how to build and real-time updated reactive front end. Then that's the reason I think it's again, if you are an Angular developer, you are on the right side.
What part of the workshop might be hardest, and how will you help us through it?
Well, the hardest part is rethinking web applications, because as we see today, a lot of LLM-driven apps, even the popular OpenUI, ChatGPT, you don't have the regular standard menu and pages and side menus and drawers. And today, when we design a web application, any website, we think about routing. We think about bundle size, lazy loading, performance. We think about how to optimize a lot of JavaScript that need to be delivered to the browser. But in the case of LLM-driven or AI-driven applications, most of it is all around the chat feed. Even if it's a very sophisticated agent, it's still a single-page application. And you don't need to build a lot of UI all around because the UI is being streamed to you on demand. So the hardest part is how do I approach building a website, a web application after over years that we were thinking about, pages and menus and views and everything that comes with it. So one of the things where I put a lot of focus in is exactly that, how to change the state of mind, how to change the approach, how to think state management in the world of single page, chat-based stream AI applications. And as usual, if anyone that listen ever been in one of my workshops, there's going to be a lot of drawing, a lot of real world examples, a lot of visual helpers, in order to first of all change the way we think. Because once we start thinking AI-driven UI UX, the rest of it, is just the technical part. That's the easiest part.
Welcome to Angular Master Podcast by NG Poland. It's great to have you here. We are diving into real-world Angular tips and help you grow as a developer step by step. Subscribe to stay in the loop. Leave us a comment if you're enjoying the ride. And hey, we've got more for you. Check out the JavaScript Master Podcast and the AI Master Podcast. Let's learn and grow together. You mentioned vibe coding. What does it mean in simple words?
Yeah, so vibe coding is something that I've seen a lot recently, usually in the mostly on LinkedIn, but in Twitter, it's like a new term that it's like, I think the most simple way to describe it, it's a trend that, hey, you can code without writing a single line of code, just with prompting. Like you need to be in a good vibe, tell Cursor or any other, IDE-based client or whatever, LLM-based IDE, what you want to build, and go ahead and build it. We see it a lot. Recently, Google released Fire-based AI Studio. Same thing, like describe what you want to build and start building it. Personally, I think it's just a trend. It's not that important. I truly believe that, from my own experience, it's very good for prototyping. I mean, you don't need to know how to code. Everything is a black box. You don't care about anything, but you can quickly come up with a simple demo, POC, prototype of an idea. But in the real world, when a lot of developers together need to collaborate on a code base and the projects start to scale you know, I've got a joke on it, like vibe coding is great, but I want to see you doing a vibe debugging and good luck. So yeah. So that's vibe coding. It's a trend. You see it all over, but again, if you ask me, I wouldn't recommend, especially junior developers or even, developers in the beginning of their careers, to invest too much time in just, trying to build a real world project completely with vibe coding and prompting, because that's probably going to fail. You still need to be able to get into the source code and understand what's going on.
What is the one big mistake devs make when they add AI to Angular, and how can we avoid it?
First of all, it's all about definition. I mean, you say adding AI to Angular, but I will maybe the terms are a little bit confusing. You don't add AI to Angular. You're building AI-driven apps with Angular as your UI framework. So the biggest mistake that I've seen that people like made when they come from the Angular world and start building the stack of AI is thinking that, AI is just, let's drop in some few pieces of code that call some, I don't know, some model and stream back the results, and that's it. And we've got a working application. Like I said before, it's not just taking your favorite framework, front-end framework, and add some endpoints that interact with AI technologies. It's rethinking the way you build it. It's rethinking your component architecture, rethinking pages, rethinking almost everything, from state management through reactivity to the way that the project is structured. So I've seen a lot of people in the Angular community say, well, hey, here you go. I build a standard web application. It's interact with a model. I've got a model-driven, LLM-driven full stack application. That's not the case. So biggest mistake is, wait a second, is not just plugging your front-end application to a model. It's rethinking the way you build it. It's understand what's changed. What's the expected user experience? Because the user experience has changed as well. Users expect different behavior from AI-driven applications. We can't think about it as a standard website anymore.
Second day of the workshop ends with the Hard Rock Cafe party. Be honest, network boost or recovery session after rock marathon?
Well, the after party, it's a very important part, because this is where we talk about the philosophy of AI technology world, the new era. Where are we going? This is the exact location where we can put aside for a second the technical part, which is the focus of the actual workshop, and talk about the future of us, about careers, about technology that's changed, the way it changed us. And there's no better environment to do it, either than sitting with a cold beer at the Hard Rock Cafe and actually let yourself talk freely about where we're heading.
The workshop is stationary and online.
Mm-hmm.
How will people online feel included, not left out?
They will feel included because all of the materials are very, very visual. And we're going to make sure that I'm going to see me as well, not just a screen. From the logistic technical part, they're going to hear everything, including the questions in the classroom. They're going to make sure to repeat the questions and repeat the answers and make sure that no one will miss anything that's happening in person. Yeah, I mean, speaking from past experience, most of the people that had to attend online, they had a good experience. They had the ability to actually keep up, because again, they're not gonna see the screen. They're gonna see me. They're gonna see everything. They're gonna see all the live example, all the visual aids that I'm gonna use.
Besides LangChain and OpenAI, what other tools will we touch?
So the main focus on our stack will be Angular as our front-end framework, obviously, LangChain and LangGraph as our LLM framework. But because we're building a full stack experience, we're gonna need a backend. So yes, we're gonna use Node.js. We're gonna see how to implement the logical part on top of a Node.js framework, TypeScript framework, obviously, to make everything align. We're going to talk about prompt evaluation. I'm going to show the attendees tools that help them debugging, monitoring, and actually evaluate the prompts, because it's a very important aspect. It's not just building your LLM-driven web applications. It's how you debug them, how you test them. The whole QA part is changing. One thing that I can tell you right away is that every tool that we're going to use is going to be open source and available. And even the model, yes, we're going to use OpenAI. But you can easily, and I will show everyone how you can switch it to any other model that you like to use. You're not coupled to OpenAI. So you're going to have a complete toolkit, which is free, open source, and available, which again include Angular, Node.js, LangChain, and a lot of surprises that I don't want to spoil it yet.
If someone feels maybe I'm not ready, what basic skills do they need? Do they really need?
Two things. First of all, if you have experience as a JavaScript developer, as a front-end developer, as an Angular developer, which means that you know TypeScript, you know how to build UI, you had some interaction with any Node.js framework. You don't need the deep knowledge like Nest.js or even Express or basically every Node.js framework. That's probably enough. Because this training, I remind you, it's a 3-day training. It's a 3-day training, which is a lot of time to build knowledge from absolute zero, understanding of how do I even approach of building LLM-driven applications to, yes, now I can get out of this workshop and actually build a real tool outside. So you are ready if you're familiar with TypeScript, if you know how to build web application, because that's the stack that we're going to use. You're not going to need Python. You're not going to need any understanding in machine learning algorithm. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to build applications. We're going to build the applicative layer. Right now, when you're building a web application with Angular, you don't necessarily need to know how to design a relational database in order to build a fully working web application. So don't be worried if you think, well, I might not be ready yet. I would say if you don't have any clue of how to get started with LLM, this workshop is especially for you, because I'll guide you through understanding every concept that you need to know. So don't worry. And if you are worried, you can share my email as usual. You can just, reach out to me in social media or email, ask questions if you're not sure, if you're done yet, and you get an honest answer if it's right for you or not.
So give us one big reason to buy a ticket right now.
Because that's the future. I mean, get these skills as fast as possible. Take your front-end JavaScript knowledge to the edge now, because that's what's happening. And like I said at the beginning of this, of this interview, I mean, right now, a lot of AI technology is focusing on the back end. And a lot of front-end developer feels a little bit lost and worried about how can I use my TypeScript, JavaScript, front-end skills in order to stay up ahead. And it's moving fast. But the basic skills of understanding LLM development, they are here to stay, probably. I'm talking about techniques that we're going to learn through the workshop, like what is extraction, what is tagging, How do I build from a simple chatbot? What is a vector store? How do I manage state in a LLM driven? These are very important skills that when you combine them with your front end skills, you've got like the ability to build the full stack feature. And I believe that, yeah, I mean, now it's the time to get in, and it's happening very, very soon. And no time to miss.
100% true. Nir, thank you so much for
Thank
today's
you.
interview. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Poland, to hug you, and to attend this amazing workshop.
Me too. Me too. Thank you very much.